Now, I would just say, I've shot this bit of the video right at the end because this is one of the easiest brushless conversions I have done in recent years. You can be looking at as little as 10 minutes to convert one of these SG cars over to brushless, and the results, well, they kind of speak for themselves. Well, Rich here, and welcome to my SG1604 Brushless conversion. But I will say from the outset, I've discovered that something that I fit to this car also fits the WL Toys 124019 and 018 and provides a really useful solution. Well, as stock, they both have a combined ESC and receiver. And if you convert into brushless, you're going to need to fit a separate ESC and a separate receiver. Both of these cars have 5-wire servos. So what's all the fuss about, Richie? 5 wires versus 3? You fit a new receiver, you're going to need a 3-wire servo. So I would say a huge shout out to Chris Torres for recommending this JX servo, which not only drops straight in to the SG1604 that I've got here, enabling me to do a much easier brushless conversion on this, it drops in to the WL Toys 124019 and the 124018, and I think the 144001 as well. Don't you just wish they'd stop using numbers and call them like the Rocket or something like that? Or is that just me? But anyway, as you'll see in this video, this servo drops straight into those. Hope you like that tip. So what else are we going to need? Well, besides that servo, to replace this 5-wire one, we're going to need a separate ESC and receiver. For the brushless setup, I'm using this 35 amp ESC 4500 kV brushless motor on there. But the brushless conversion I'm going to do to this car can also be done to the SG1601 and 1603. And I will say, I'm not actually fitting this brushless conversion to this car for speed. It is more so I've got a high level of drivability when I fit the drift tyres to the car. Although, if people ask, I will go and put the GPS on this and see what speed we get out of it. Although we are going to run it around the yard at some speed later on in the video, all being well. As for the receiver, well, if you watched the first video I did of this car, you will know the gyro simply wasn't working on it, so there wasn't a lot of point in keeping that anyway. But this new Dumbo X6 receiver has got a built-in gyro with it as well, so we should be able to get it drifting nicely. Now, I would say, while this car was quite good, stock out of the box, it didn't kind of impress me as much as I felt it should do, having seen other people's videos on it. But I did feel it worthy of a second chance. Seen a few people do brushless conversions. Thought my solution is nice and low cost, but I thought we could do a cheap low cost conversion on it. This brushless setup I've got here is yours for around about $32. The transmitter and receiver yours for $30, and that servo yours for around 12 to 15 bucks. So not a big money, big budget conversion, but I feel we should get a good fun factor result coming out of the end of it. So let's get straight to work on the car, then test it outside. Now, the only downside to fitting a new receiver to the car is I may lose the functionality controlling the very nice headlights on this car, but we'll see how we get along the way. Okay, time to remove the headlights. Battery out, servo disconnected, motor disconnected, ESC and receiver out, 7 screws to remove the gear cover and the central spline. I use this secure intelligent screwdriver. It is definitely my go-to tool for working on cars like this and the WL Toys cars at the minute, and that is because it senses whatever direction you're turning it in. So if you want to unscrew, just turn to the left and the thing starts moving to the left. If you want to tighten a screw, turn to the right, the thing starts moving to the right. Outstanding. Now, with the cover off, just 2 screws to remove the motor casing. Motor removed, pinion removed, new motor mounted, pinion gear back on, new motor in place, new ESC in place. Time to fit that new servo, which should be a nice easy job, only held in by 2 screws. So out with the old and in with the new, coming together fairly fast. We just got to squeeze our new receiver in. Now, nearly done, just got to tidy the wiring up, as I say. The one thing I did notice is, although this is bought as a combination pack, we've got yellow, red and black, and yellow, orange and blue. So I'm going to have to play around with those just to make sure we're running in the right direction. Okay, we're pretty much all ready to go other than squeezing the battery in. Got all the electrics, got the wiring tidied up, set the gyro working on the receiver so you can see with no steering input on there. Gyro is working. You can adjust that from the transmitter, so it should be pretty good, particularly when we've got the drift tyres fitted to it. So you're going to see it demonstrated in a second. Stock tyres and then the drift tyres. There is just one slight thing. I've had to dull the power down quite a bit. This is it on 25% throttle dual rate. This is it turned up to 50% dual rate. And that is it dialed up to 75%. Not quite dared test it on 100% yet. Certainly not with the tyres off the bench, because I think they are just going to disintegrate. So while I did not build this for speed, I have a feeling that when that power is turned right up to 100%, the thing is going to be terrifyingly quick. So my SG1604 brushless conversion is ready to test outside. First of all, you're going to see it run on the stock tyres, which are the kind of grippier ones. Then we're going to put it on the drift tyres. Speaking of drifting, you will now see we've got a fully working gyro. People, that is how a gyro is supposed to work. It shouldn't be related to how fast the car's going before it kicks in, because otherwise how are you going to drift at low speed? The gyro needs to work from day one, which it will do with this.
So how is it in the real world? Oh mama. Time to test the SG1604 outside. I'm going to give it a quick run around the yard, both on the stock tyres and then on the drift tyres. Now I do have a confession to make. This ESC isn't 2S rated. It's 3S rated. So I thought it would be really rude not to put a 3S pack in there. So I went and put a 3S pack in there. So let's see how we get on. It seems to have no power low down, and then it just gets on it. I have a feeling this may be quite a handful on any surface. It's not super drivable to start with. Definitely going to require a bit of tuning, but once that motor gets on it, oh my lordy. I have a confession to make. The ESC isn't 2S rated. It's 3S rated. So it would have been rude not to stick a 3S pack in. So that's exactly what I did. I have a feeling it could be a bit lively. Might have to turn that gyro down. Oh man. Now, there is a bit of cogging with this ESC at the start. No, and 2S or 3S. But the thing is now, I'm thinking that's got to be good for, I think about 30 plus, I would think. Could it 40 at a peak? It takes a while to get going. Ooh, man, good brakes. I have tested and driven it on the drift tyres, and it is more fun on the drift tyres, I will say, than it is, or certainly with this much power, on the grippy tyres, because the cogging goes away because the wheels are able to spin completely from the start. But if you've got a big area to drive this round in, it's going to be ideal for having a good bash with this brushless power. But that cogging is a little bit annoying, but I showed the good and the bad. But once it's going, you've got a ferocious amount of power, and more than enough power to drift that back end out on wheel. Does need a little bit playing around with a gyro, certainly with these grippy tyres. They have got a lot of grip on here. Anyway, time to test it on the drift tyres. A little bit of cogging on both 2S or 3S from the start on here. I will say I haven't tested it on the drift tyres. That cogging issue goes away completely, and it is a far more balanced car with the drift tyres on. But with these tyres on the brushless conversion, I need a much bigger area to run it in. Anyway, let's get drifting. Well, with the drift tyres on, we have definitely not got a lot of grip. But it's a lot of fun to drive. And I've been doing it inside, and it drives my cat absolutely crazy. But it is now, I can now see why people like this. The ideal car, possibly the ideal car for shelter in place. You could have great fun with this just around the living room. Speaking of which, I may try it inside in a second. And it takes a while to build the speed up. Completely different beast on these tyres. I would think on a tennis court or basketball court it would be great fun, or a large indoor area to get some speed on and drift it at speed. Can block it your heart out. Got 3S pack in there at the minute, but it would be just as much fun on 2S. I stand corrected on my opinion of the SG1604. When it's converted to brushless, it is a completely different beast. Now I've got a gyro working in particular, and with the drift tyres on. The brushless setup fairly obviously completely transforms the car over the stock one. But best of all, this brushless conversion, super cheap, Super easy to do, and I would highly recommend it. I'll put a link to all the stuff fitted to the car and the car itself below the video. Thanks for watching.
Well, thumbs up if you like this video, guys. Post any comments you might have in the comment section below the video, and hit the circle below to subscribe. And if you do hit the circle, don't forget to hit the bell.